Hi, this is Craig from GMC4x4.com, the site for Chevy and GMC truck enthusiasts. What we're going to discuss with you guys today is how to extend the breather tube that comes on top of your factory transmission. As many of you guys know, GMC Chevy does not put a breather tube vent on top of their transmissions. And what happens then is that tube is only about 6 inches long and sits on top of your tranny. So if you've ever had the truck in deep mud, water, snow, there's a good chance that that transmission has sucked up any of that fluid or grime and debris. It's actually gone into your transmission housing. What that does to the fluid itself is mixing that either sand or dirt or anything other than transmission fluid inside your transmission will certainly have deleterious effects on it, and a lot of guys have damaged their transmissions because of that. So this mod is super easy, not very expensive, and what we carry at GMC 4x4 is actually a kit, so it comes all together. So let me show you guys the parts that you're going to need for the kit itself, or if you want to go build one on your own, and then also the tools that you're going to need to put this together. So this is the heart of it right here. This is a 1/4 inch flexible fuel line. I choose this stuff because it'll definitely last as long as your vehicle will. It's good for vapors and any fluid that may come out of the transmission. Super tough. And for the 4L60E, it's a 1/4 inch. I don't know if the 80E bumps up to 3/8, so check your application, but at least for the 60E, it's definitely a 1/4 inch. So don't buy the cheap stuff, you know, like vinyl or any of that other tubing, because it's prone to kinking, and it certainly doesn't wear as well as this heavy-duty flexible stuff. And also the tubing that we use is all made in America, just like actually most of the parts in this kit. So moving on. This is your 1/4 inch brass coupler. Spend a few more bucks, get brass. The lasts a lot longer. It's resistant to the fumes coming out of your tranny, and if you install it once, it'll definitely last the life of this kit. So go for brass, don't go for the cheaper plastic stuff. We've also got these 3 stainless steel clamps. They come in the kit, and you're definitely going to need these for the install. I'm a big fan of the worm-driven ones. Once you cinch these down, they're not going anywhere. One of the hardest parts to find, because the transmission housing that comes on the Chevy GMC trucks typically does not have a vent. This is the vent cap. These are very hard to come by, and we're very limited supplies of these. So if you're going for the transmission extension kit, make sure we have one of these, and if you can't, if we don't, see if you can find a way to get one. But check on the site and you'll know when we're in stock. I also include one of these. This is essentially just a simple bracket that you can use that will hold the tube up against the firewall. We're going to show you just how we're going to mount the extension. And in this too, just like all the other pieces, this is stainless steel. This is a sheet metal screw, and when we do mount this, some guys prefer using mountable zip ties. This slides right into the eyelet, so if you prefer a mountable zip tie versus the bracket that's included, you certainly can. And then for the tools that you're going to need to complete the install, just some electrical tape. This we're using actually just for the cutting end to clean up the zip ties. This is optional, but I'm personally going to silicone this screw once it goes through the firewall. That'll keep you know, any water out. You're going to need a light. It's dark underneath your transmission, and then a drill. So what I'm going to do now is measure the line and start prepping the line. Then I'm going to show you guys how we install this. Stay tuned. Alright, so now that I've finished measuring the line and cut the new stuff, let's go forward and prep it. First thing you're going to want to do, or at least what I do, is I put a little bit of electric tape on all my rubber lines, just because this will help protect the line from the clamp even though the ends are rolled. It is nice that over time you don't have to worry about the clamp digging in, and it also helps to protect this entire line from splitting over time. So take this, then you've got your brass coupler. Just put it in here like this, and by the time you're done, of course, make sure the rubber comes up to here. Then you're going to take your flathead or socket wrench, tighten that all the way down. Then as you get to the other side here, this is your breather vent on the 1/4 inch or 5/32 line. If your vehicle calls for the larger line, so just measure it on your transmission housing. This is the 3/8 inch vent. We carry both of these in stock, but this particular one is much harder to find, as there's not as many vehicles that are using 5/32. Most are using 3/8. So put it on tight, use the heel of your hand, that way you won't crack it, and you'll be ready to go. So this will be, of course, clamped down, but this is essentially your line. So next I'm going to show you guys how you mount it on the truck, so stay tuned. Alright, so now you can see where I secured the line before I dropped it back behind the engine. So it's right there. Used one of the zip ties, zip tied it to the AC, with the AC refrigerant line.
Alright, so now that we've zip tied the breather vent to the AC refrigerant line on top, I've dropped the line. Just to give you some perspective, this is the transmission that you're looking at right now. And then back up in here, which of course is tough to see, is I've allowed the line to drop behind the engine block and then just in front of the body. And there's a nice big bundle of wires that sits on top of the transmission that you can actually zip tie this line to. What I'm showing you guys right here is this is actually that new extension we just put in, and it sits on top of the transmission. Zip tie it to those new lines, and you will definitely be good to go. So what I recommend next is, this is where the new line meets the original OEM line. It sits on top of your transmission. In between here is that brass coupler that I showed you earlier, and these are those two stainless steel hose clamps. So clamp those down. Of course, again, what I always do is a little bit of electrical tape underneath, and then I put electrical tape over the junction here as well. Clamp those down, zip tie them to that big bundle, and you'll be ready to go. So what we're going to do next in our next step is I'm going to show you guys how to mount this, and then this project's done, so stay tuned.
Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys the final part of this install. Before I show you the final mounted product, just something will make your life a lot easier. When you use these mountable zip ties, mount it backwards. Have the screw go into the flat part and then mount it into the firewall. The reason why is that when you come around like this, the tube is essentially going to be held in here. It'll make your life much, much easier to come around from the back side. So this is how you want it to eventually mount. Put a little silicone around the screw, and you'll be good to go. And if you don't have silicone, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just something that I use. So now you can see the final mounted product right here. There's that zip tie. When I'm done, I'm going to clean that up by clipping it off. Screws on the other side, but there's that vent cap. This vent cap is now feet higher than it was OEM, but if for some reason you are to swamp your truck to the point that water gets up to the top of your firewall, I've built this little loop in here. I do these on all my vent installs. That's why if any debris or any water does come in here, hopefully it'll sit in this little lull right here before it goes into the transmission. So just a little extra safety factor. If you want to build one in yourself, just put a little zip tie at an angle, and that'll make sure this loop holds still. So that's it for our transmission breather tube extension. I hope you guys learned a lot. You enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, comments, want to check the video out, again, go to www.gmc4x4.com. Also, we've got the kits there too if you're interested. So have a great day, and hope to see you on the trails.